Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Season 8 recap. This time, I'm here with Kyle and Iron Master, and we're going to talk about Division 7 some more.
Woo! Yeah! Woo is Iron Master, yeah is Kyle Vier. And this is a week.
Look at this high-scoring week here in this high-scoring division.
Oh, man. I don't even remember what I predicted. Let's see what happened.
Man, 8 TDs through 7 games.
Yeah, 7 games, 8 touchdowns, and 2 of those are buys.
17 armor breaks with these Doom Anvils. Oh, man.
Oh, yeah, this was a very punchy game. This could have very easily gone the other way.
70 blocks! 70! Yeah, I didn't know you could go that high, and I played dwarves.
Have you not heard of the 84?
Oh, well, you play Norse, man. You have Frenzy. That's cheating.
No. That's Cheese's team playing against, like, Motley's dwarves, and they got hit a lot.
Hey, if you hug all the dwarves, you're going to get punched.
Yes, there's 84 blocks in that one, but...
Every dwarf that can hit somebody every turn is going to do it.
Like,
pretty much.
My best is, like, 60 versus 60, going really early against Lich in Chores versus Dwarfs.
So now, this was kind of a strange game. This was a rainy game, so we can maybe see how this becomes an 0-1 already. But this sort of just turns into... Basically what happens is it's a pitch invasion on the Chorf drive, and it knocks down like 2 of the human blitzers, so the Chorfs just sort of get to wrap up the humans on the first couple of turns, and it's just this awful, punchy shitfest in the middle for like 6 turns. And eventually the humans touch the ball, and the Hob drops it, and the humans leave with it and score on the first half on the Hob drive. Or on the Chorf drive, rather.
Yeah.
And then in the second half, it's just like this miserable punch fest because the humans have been getting hit 70 times. Note the 8 KOs and 2 injuries. At this point, there are not very many humans left on the field. So we have the ball in perfect shape, and we get it down there, and we're trying to hand the ball off to a bull centaur who's got 3 SPPs so that we can get the first level on this guy, and he fails the catch, fails the reroll, fails the pickup.
Yep, that'll happen.
Yep. This was what, for all right, should have been a 1-1, but we tried to put 3 SPP on a bull centaur and got punished for it.
Can I say that I still think you made the right call?
Oh,
I absolutely think that was the right play. It was absolutely great.
You took the words right out of my mouth. If the victory doesn't matter, development's what you do, and that's the right development, because points on Hobbs are a dirty player or nothing.
Exactly. That first level on that bull centaur is huge, like absolutely huge, and you should try and do this some more.
And, I mean, yeah, he's got a sure hands Hob, which I can understand the utility if there's strip ball running around, and he's got block now. Honestly, I think that guy should just get a bullet. Like, it's cute, but no, he's 2 hobgoblins now. Shoot him and get 2 hobgoblins.
That's sort of how I feel about the bull centaur ball conundrum. Like, put the ball on the piece that has trouble getting SPP that really wants a whole bunch of SPP. It seems like an obvious thing to me, instead of this 40k piece that you would rather get ejected than do anything else.
I mean,
Sure Hands is mostly just to toss the ball away from him in most cases.
Yeah, no.
So
it lets him pick
bad.
it up and take it to somebody.
Yeah, I get that it's a pick up and then a handoff, which is fine. But the problem is he has 2 levels now. So I think the second level is just a bullet unless he got scarred or something.
Well, now he's like a block sure hands guy, so it's really like he's only got 1 level, kind of, because he just like does his ball duties, and then he becomes this asshole hobgoblin that's harder to kill. Like, you just ride that snake, he's never going to make it to his 3rd level anyway.
Yeah, but like he costs 80. You could have 2 hobgoblins.
It could be 2 hobgoblins, I get that, but then you have these games in the rain where you really need that sure hands guy.
Yeah. I don't know.
I played some Chorf ball in the rain. That's why I bought a weather dome.
Fair enough. I'll trust your experience there, and I'll say that I'm just putting that point there because I think it is close, and I think you do what you want with that.
I don't really want... So, I may be being a bit of a hypocrite defending this 2-level sure hands block hob, because I have in the last 3 weeks fired 8 hobgoblins to keep them at 0 SPP, so...
Yeah.
Like, I get it.
Yeah, I think it's a case where I'm making the case because I feel it should be brought up, not because I feel it's gospel.
Yeah. So some development here. We had a plus movement blitzer on the humans. Gets guard here. It's a big development for the team. It's just another fantastic piece that's no longer in the box. We have the Sure Hands Hob gets block, and we have a Clawchorf gets Mighty Blow. That's another big get.
Oh,
Man.
that's his first club Mighty Blow, isn't it?
Ooh,
It is, I believe.
that's real strong.
Also, we all saw Starstruck. Jeez, I can't even say them. Starstruck got a plus strength thrower, right?
Maybe.
So now he's on a
that
third.
guy might have been there before.
He looks new to me.
He had
That's
a
all I think.
bye last week, so he might have gotten it during the bye.
I think it was from the bye, because my notes and the fixtures only said that those were the 3 levels.
Well,
I mean, I could certainly be wrong. Feel free to make fun of me for being wrong. I probably deserve it.
I'm still just enamored by that MVP lino that has guard and only 1 smash knee. He should throw the ball and get block. Well, yeah, I mean, there's that other guard lino that was worth a lot of money that has 2 smash
Oh,
knees
is he
now.
at 15 to 16?
Oh, he's at 15 to 16, baby. That guy wants to throw
get
a
that
ball.
man a vanity pass right now.
He gets blocked, and he maybe gets to live to a second season. Oh, he's got 2 of these things? Oh, man, 2 guard linos. This guy is doing good.
oh
With
yeah,
their
and one's a
powers
guard plus
combined,
strength
they
line,
can
though.
walk.
Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah, Mind Fury, they can walk. All right, what's our second game?
Next up is Nurgle versus Kimry. The Nurgle beats the Kimry here. This is Canum Consulting, which is our leaders. No, well, they were our leaders until this game.
Oh.
The 8-1-1 Kimry.
Yeah, well,
Well, who has the
Or
better
they were
TD
8
differential?
8-2 before. Sorry.
that is something I'm going to have to do math. Did they fix it this week season so that buys show up proper TD differential, or is that still
I
worked?
have no idea. But the TD differential here is pretty big for anyone who actually wants to sneak in anyway. Like the people who would be sneaking in on TD differential in both this Div and Div 4 are just like 6+ TD differential behind, so they have to have 2 really obscene games to end the season.
Well, no, this is between first and second here.
I mean, so I looked it up. You're basically for Div 7 fighting between first and second as to whether or not you fight high elves or dark elves.
Wow. Div 7's got an easy life there. I mean, I guess
there's like
but,
some tiny tiebreaker magic that leads to like chaos getting one of those slots. But first place is almost certainly fighting dark elves.
Yeah. Well, looking here, it says the TD differential for the Nurgle is 12, while Common Consulting is 8 because they are a low-scoring team. So, yeah. So it's probably going to be A-Grain going in.
Yeah, A-Grain probably gets first. Yeah, he's
Which I
like
will believe is his
he also
second time
has a
going
bye in the next 2 weeks, so he's basically locked for first.
yeah, that'll do it.
He's the only one of the playoff contenders that has a bye too.
That's always fun.
But yeah, this was a slugfest. So Kimry comes into this game down a Tomb Guardian,
Ooh, that's
and
right.
within the first like 3 turns, 2 Tomb Guardians are KO'd, and one of them regens an injury. So we're playing no Tomb Guardian ball here for the first half, and then neither of the Tomb Guardians wakes up in the second half. So we have to play 1 Tomb Guardian ball for the second half.
I'm
And
surprised
he
you guys.
still almost ties this game with a Blitz Rot that is only shot down by a lightning bolt at the last second.
Still managed to pick up 4 injuries. Impressive.
Yeah. This was like a real scrum for the first like 6 turns or something.
Out of 31 blocks, that was some hot dice.
Only just taking all these 3DBs and stuff.
Yeah, that'll do it. 3DBs are real threatening.
Yeah.
Like it. I like this
That's
match a
the
lot.
life.
For all that.
No development here on either team. I mean, I think
Yeah.
a Rotter dies.
That never matters.
Yeah, it doesn't matter at all. It was like a no-skill Rotter. I didn't even write it down.
At least you didn't steal the MVP, right?
Yeah, that's nice.
All
The
right.
other one did.
Okay, we got Royal Rumble Boys just got their bye, so that puts their
Yeah,
record
this
up
was a
top.
buy here.
And then Film Flayers over Jazz Poison.
Black Warrior gets guard for Royal Rumble Boys, so that's more good development for the man that's already in first.
Yeah, he's starting to be one of those real threatening chaos teams we were talking about in the other division. But, well, that's right. It's the second season, so he's not going to rocket up or down. So he potentially gets to live in a world that it will not potentially prune him as hard. Maybe.
Murder Nurgle. He's like in the prime place to be Murder Nurgle.
It's certainly true. Alright, so we have Film Flares versus Jazz Boys, and that is our Necro versus our Underworld. So the Necro has it. Let's see how they did it.
Lots of armor breaks.
Yeah.
This was a slugfest here.
Yeah. Whoa, 34 versus 22 blocks. And yet.
Yeah. And yet. The Film Flare dice were pretty hot on removals. But I mean, that's life when you're punching stunties, right?
Yep.
I'm just imagining the Babe was here and was doing work.
I want you to realize that this is a game where a Blodge sidestep wolf died on turn 3.
It stayed
and
dead.
Frank was injured on that very same turn, so Necro was fighting uphill this whole game.
Man, Holes has had a rough season. That wolf stay dead?
It is dead. It is gone. He's already bought a new one.
Man, he is, and yet he won it. Impressive.
Now that said, this was Underworld's game up until they had a terrible scatter on an inaccurate pass that then allowed Necro to put 4 guys on the ball and stop them from scoring on their drive.
Okay.
And then they field 6 guys in the second half. So what are you gonna do?
Mm-hmm. I've been wiggling the mouse over the 2 expulsions on each side. Is there a story there?
Oh, not really.
Probably lots of fouling
each other. Yeah, I mean it's Underworld versus Necro. There's zombies and goblins around.
Line Rat gonna eat a lot of fouls.
This was a full pitch clear by I think it was turn 14, maybe 15. We hand the ball off to Frank over the course of 2 turns, and he gets to score with it.
As you do. That's how you recover from getting murdered.
That is a good thing to do when you are in a position like this. Score with a low agility boy, because you get 6 tries to put it on him.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well,
let's talk about what used to be vampires in their buy against philosophical, whatever. I mispronounced the hell out of that. I'm just gonna leave it.
Philosophical.
Yeah, philosophical.
Oh, is that what the name? See, I always thought it as Phil is Ophi cool. But,
yeah, I actually
cool.
learned that from your cast about 4 or 5 that was how you pronounce that.
Oh man, he gets the perfect MVPs on Wilson Wonder and through Tossley.
Honestly, his heroes. Come on, man. Obviously they need it.
They certainly do. They're great. They're great boys.
No further ado. That's it.
Can I just say I hate guard after the jump up pick?
I mean,
I get it.
I hear your point, because we want that jump up on your man that's blitzing every turn. But yeah, okay, I don't like guard on my Troll Slayers, so I can understand that. But that's more of a case of I hate basing Troll Slayers. Do you base this guy ever?
So what would you have taken instead of guard on this jump up movement?
Mighty Blow to pylon.
Yeah, I think so.
He could have taken Mighty Blow to guard. I'm just saying guard's really slow, but I mean he's a fast player, so he can pick up the ball.
Right. So I think what he really wants here is just the most mobile guard piece ever, right?
Yeah. And then if he gets hit, he has jump up to hit back, I guess.
Well, he has jump up to get to the next place he needs to be guarding.
See, I think for me, I don't like jump up in the first place. I'd rather have dodge. But that's just me.
I agree.
I totally.
Especially at movement 8.
Yeah, he's already zooming.
But whatever. Jump up is still good. And it's mobile guard.
I think he didn't take Mighty Blow because he needs guard, and then he already has a Palmer, and his Palmer does work already.
Exactly. You can't blitz twice in a turn, it turns out.
I think Mighty Blow is good because you train this guy as a replacement for when Wilbert eventually eats it. But that's not a fun thing to do. And the team really badly needs guard. He has 2 guard otherwise on his Ogre and a Lino. That's rough.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. That said, Lino guard's great guard.
It's so good.
One block though.
Yeah,
Well, that man is an MVP and a vanity pass from block, or you feed him touchdowns.
Yep. Okay.
I would
Well,
feed
let's
him if he
talk
could.
about this next game where halflings tie some elves.
I heard interesting things about this one.
A lot of stuff happened in this game.
Tell me about it. So, I see 1 expulsion and 19 armor breaks off the halfling, so I'm guessing that they were able to get the foul train going.
Pretty much. So they get the foul train going, and we have all 3 trees for this game too. So the trees are doing work.
Like I see Deep
You
Root taking the
you can't
MVP.
let these strength 4 mighty blow shitheads hit your guys because they'll kill them.
Yeah.
The short version here is like elves have to push down because there's 3 trees closing in on them. The flings get a perfect defense on the start, so they get to sort of shift into the lopsided setup.
Ugh.
So the dark elves are forced to like not really stall super hard, so they score in 4, which then lets the halflings just sort of cage up in the middle and throw the ball down and score with it.
Ugh. Yeah, no, this is solid halfling coaching, and no discredit to the dark elves. Like, tying here is rough, and you never feel good to tie against halflings, but like, if he can leverage
This certainly
3
could
trees,
have been a win for the halflings. The second half here, like the halflings have removed just as many elves, and when you're removing an elf for every halfling that's gone, that's advantage for the flings. So like we get the ball in the middle of these 3 trees, and there's only like 7 elves left or something, and it's hard to get in there and pop that thing. Eventually, though, he does, and he puts it on the ground on like turn 14 or 15 or something, and then the flings can't recover it in time to throw it down and score again. So this was a hard fought tie against halflings.
like, an interesting statistic to make is that the dark elves only had 18 blocks, which means
Versus
they blitzed
42 from flings.
Yes, that is a lot. That means that the trees were basing up successfully and making a lot of blocks, and you just couldn't apparently leave dark elves base to get 2 dies for free against the halflings, because apparently the positioning was just such that they couldn't do shit. That's rough.
So you may see a death inflicted here. That was a dodge sidestep Finn blitzer.
Ooh. And he was already...
Plus strength halfling, 8 of minus movement.
Good.
You're gonna keep that.
Yeah, I'd keep that guy.
It's
A
movement
pass,
forward,
dodge, block, plus strength runner with minus armor gets a niggle, so he becomes like an honorary stunty.
Oh, yeah.
I'd keep that guy still, but
Probably,
he's
yeah.
very soft now.
He is a couple games away of figuring out if you want to keep him or not.
Exactly. Yeah, you probably hold him until the end of the season at least. A block witch elf gets sidestep, and then break tackle tree gets guard.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's actually a real interesting setup there.
I think one of the main things that probably went wrong in this match was he maybe just tried putting linemen on trees and trying to run away.
Punched for it, and they
And
die.
Can't do that.
No.
They'll take those mighty blow hits every single time, and you lose.
Just gotta
one
let
elf
the
out of
tree keep moving around until it decides where it's gonna stay, and then you just leave it there.
Like, unless you have specifically loner linemen, and even then, like, the AV8
You know
is
that
not
you're
that great.
feeding them to death.
Yes. You just have to accept that AV8 is going to buy you, like, most of a half. And that's at best.
You hope.
I mean, the problem is the fact that the halflings don't care about throwing another assist there to make it the 3 dice, and 3 dice can get there.
But that's sort of how this was. It was a bunch of trees punching elves, and then just good positioning for flings to make their low probability scores. And then it just doesn't quite work out in the second half. It's fling life.
Yeah, that sounds like... It sounds like the perfect defense did a lot of work in just swinging the entire tempo of the game.
I mean, a little bit, yeah. So I don't know that it would have made a huge difference because we basically one turn anyway to score. Because he basically cages up and takes as many punches as he can until turn 7, and then he throws a fling down and scores with it.
And if he tries to defensively cage or do any sort of stalling there, he just starts throwing halflings at the cage and basing trees.
Yeah, you just try and put the trees in the cage. Like, Deep Root Iron Branch goes right to the forehead.
Mm-hmm. Directly to the forehead. But I wouldn't feel bad about this. These are some of the nastier halflings I've ever seen. Granted, I'm used to people playing halflings as a joke team, and it turns out that apparently good stunty coaches can get that 40% win rate.
I think he's like third for Stunty leaderboard, right?
I know Raven Poe is first.
Raven Poe is by
there.
far first, and then another Goblin is second. But there was a Fling that's third, and I think it might be him, actually. I'm not sure.
Speaking of stunties, next we have Hufflepuff Heroes and BioWare for Life, where the vampires take
Kimberly
it.
and vampires, right?
And the winner is the vampires. Yeah.
Yes, in fact.
Yeah.
This was like just a textbook showing of spread the Kimry out and then run the ball down.
54 blocks succeeded for Khemri. Like, they were doing what Khemri do and just hitting a bunch.
Well, yeah, they were punching thralls, man. You just like fed thralls to the Tomb Guardians and let them walk across the field away from where the plays were happening.
Mm-hmm.
I just think the main problem is he doesn't have any like real mighty blow pieces that are hitting every turn, and that's what's killing him. Like not having a Blitzer with Palm.
Well,
Blitzer got mighty blow this game.
And they can actually start doing things now.
I mean, if
Or
you get
gets
4
dodged
blocks and you only get 5 KOs and injury, it's definitely not great against vampires, where you kind of need about 8 KOs to get them to feel the attrition game hard.
Exactly, and the vamps here never permanently hurt any of their thralls.
Like
he went into the second half with literally no one in his cast box. Like he still had spares.
Yeah, you're just done at that point against vamps.
Exactly. And then that just lets him stall Kimry out forever, basically.
Yeah. Well, what can you do? That's an interesting game. It sounds like it sounds like kind of a neat week. Sounds like a lot of games that kind of broke at the halfway point, and then things got blown away. Do we want to zoom in on any particular teams? You want to highlight a game?
I want to talk about the 4 people that are in contention for our playoff spots.
Yeah, okay. I like that.
That's Agrain, Darkanon, Stouticus, and Hulls. Captain Deuce, you're like right on the outside, but you gotta make up like 8 TD differential to get in there, and everything else has to break right. Because like we mentioned before, Agrain has a bye coming up, so he's only got 1 more game, so he's actually got 29 points.
So he's just a lock.
He's literally locked. Because like if Darkanon loses both of his coming games, he still has 26 points, which means that in theory, Stouticus and Hulls can pass him with 28 and 27 respectively if they both win out.
Hulls is very good at what he does. He is rebuilding. I'm not sure he's in a position to make that run. And I'm not sure he even wants to make that run.
Let's just like take a look at these teams. Let's just run down the list and look at A-Greens first.
Sure.
We've looked at some of these before, but they're like real playoff competitors now. And like, look at this Nurgle is all I have to say. This is beautiful. This is like, I would rather have this team than either of the Div 4 Nurgle.
Yeah, no, he's got Nurgle warriors that are healthy, and his Pestigores are just fine. Like, his ball carrier gore maybe could have like 2 heads, but it has plus strength.
Oh, I'm so sorry that it has 4 strength instead.
Yeah, that's you don't cry for that. His team value is actually higher than the Div 4 ones at 1970.
He's also floating 14 Rotters right now, so he can, and like 150k in the bank, he could very easily adjust his TV to fit his opponent. That's sort of the Nurgle gameplay. He's like minimum 1900 maybe, but he can punch a little lighter.
Yeah. Honestly, he's just very like flat on skills. Everyone kind of has the same amount, just a little bit difference here and there, and that's.
I would love to have 30 SPP on everybody.
Yeah, no. The only thing that he is in midst of either firing that Beast of Nurgle or giving it block. Comedy option, it got strength. That's terrifying if it does, but like whatever, you know.
That's a long way away. It's still got to get 9 more SPP.
He's got a Murder Warrior. He's got a Murder Pestigore. The Murder Pestigore has Tackle. He's got another Tackle.
So he's got Wrestle Tackle with plus move, too.
Yep, he's got a backup Killer with his Claw Mighty Blow as well. And he's got the Carrier Gore. He's got enough guard to be functional.
Rotter, as it should be.
Yep. Yeah,
Randy Orton is a man, and he wants to put his boot inside of you.
He's the one that yells woo, right?
I don't know.
He's the one that's slithering up.
Yeah.
That's what I know.
Fair enough. At any rate, yeah, this is about peak Nurgle here. It's got enough claw that you can't just remove the claw, because that's how I've been dealing with it.
Yep.
Yeah, no, this is about as good as it gets.
This is Nurgle at the point where you can't knock one piece out of it and ruin it, but not so late as to have a bunch of beat up injuries. This is like literally Nurgle Prime right here.
And note that it's about 2K TV. This is where I think Nurgle is the monsters.
Now he's just like
a second season team, right? Yeah. This is absurd development for a second season team too.
Yeah, I wish I were nearly this lucky. Well, whatever.
He's put his skills all in the right places too. Like most of these guys have basically exactly as much SPP as they needed to level and very little more.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I can see one thing he's doing is just putting down touchdowns on the Warriors. So that's just how he's really fast tracking it. The Warriors will get it on their own.
That's respectable.
You're getting Warriors to just get their touchdowns and then they get their Cavs.
Yeah, look at these things with 2+ touchdowns scored.
Well, his Murder Pestigore is potentially on its way to legend. Like, if it gets an MVP, it gets its next to last level, which, speaking of, what do you think he's going to take?
I take Piling On next and then Pro.
Yep. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, you pretty much take Piling On, and then I would take Juggernaut as a last skill on him.
The 176 skill is really dealer's choice, right?
Yeah, but I'm just saying at that point, you're facing Stand Firm. You're going to want it.
You're not wrong there, but like, whatever, just kill him anyway.
Frenzy. Yeah,
take Frenzy on him too.
Yeah.
I would take Frenzy on the Movement 7 Rackle piece.
Yeah, I like the Rackle Frenzy. That sounds good.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I kind of want Juggernaut on that guy too.
Yeah, I mean, you go Frenzy Juggernaut, and even if you're blitzing with your wrestle and you want to wrestle, you just don't Juggernaut.
Exactly.
You get to choose.
There you go.
You mean now you can choose? Block.
Oh, man.
But what if I want to do both?
You can't push and put them both on the ground. That'd be pretty funny.
That would be pretty good.
You just call that, like, everybody falls down? Yeah, anyway.
Yeah, before anybody pays close attention to that comment, let's go look at Darthanon.
Yeah, where that one. Okay. This is honestly pretty ideal as well. Like, Khemri is never known to be height of its powers exactly. Like, they're a tier 2 team, kind of.
I would point to Gengar's team if you want to see height of Khemri power.
Point strength 4, or sorry, 2 strength 6, 2 strength 4.
Yeah. This guy's close. Don't get me wrong, but only 3+ strength. You're not really dedicated.
And they're not Palmers either, so you know.
Yeah,
maybe someday he will hatch into a true Khemri team.
I feel like he is in a position where he can eventually take Piling On with that plus strength guy. I'm not sure I'd want to because I think that's a little scary. I would probably take it with the tackle guy first, honestly.
I like tackle guy as the Palmer, and then plus strength guy. I probably put either guard or stand firm on.
I would like some tackle on him first, and then you go stand firm.
Sure.
Yeah.
I just want him to be a pillar.
Or, guys, it's Frenzy.
I don't hate that. I would like Frenzy into stand firm.
That's actually, you say that, and it sounds like you maybe said it as a joke, but I actually don't hate it, because it lets you open holes. Yeah. Yeah.
Strength 4 Frenzy is amazing.
I like that.
More to the point, it's the first Frenzy, and Khemri's slow, so having Frenzy forces them to go down the middle against your pile of Tomb Guardians.
There are some Tomb Guardians here, and they are some beautiful Tomb Guardians. One of them even has block.
Yep.
He could have got a touchdown on it, but didn't cough. That's why it's not so developed cough.
Why would you say that out loud in front of me? Now I'm mad at him.
See, here's the thing.
At him too.
He could just make a vanity pass with that thing, and he's good, right?
Oh, that's right. It ends up on one of these guys in his game, right? And he tries to pass it off to the thrower, right? Or was that the other? Was that Hufflepuff's game?
I was casting. He was against Hufflepuffs, and he just had the ball. And this Tomb Guardian was 3 SPP away. He walks it away towards the fight. He does get a Kaz, so now he's at 30 out of 31. But he had about 4 turns to get the ball up, and he could scoop it around for 2 turns before needing to actually pick it up again.
So he could have gotten 3 SPP instead of 2 SPP and leveled. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Yeah, that would have been a thing.
And the game was already 1-0 in his favor.
Yeah, that's a safe lead for Khemri, right?
Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, there was no way the other Khemri were getting to the ball, so
Yeah, I get it.
he had the chance. He didn't take it.
Such it is.
Speaking of leads and Khemri and such, he's got a lot of skeleton levels here. Granted, I love wrestle, tackle, diving tackle skeleton. That man is beautiful. But, like dirty.
I don't know how I feel about this this minus Agi dirty player kick boy. I think that he could just be 2 skeletons.
Yeah.
Yeah, he needs to go. To be honest, he's been there the whole shebang. He's been there since the start. He was the first level up on this team because he went 6 games without leveling up, but he needs to go.
Yep.
As much as I love this wrestle tackle diving tackle guy, and as much work as I'm sure he does, he is 3 skeletons.
It's true. I don't know. Like, I feel like he might want some other development on his other pieces. Like you mentioned, getting tackle on the second blitz raw first. I would want tackle on the second blitz raw first, just so that he has better marks.
I have a question for you. What do you take on the second throw raw, the just block throw raw when he levels?
Later.
That's an idea.
He should have taken wrestle to tackle, but yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just to have a safety.
Yeah, I like that right there because it is a movement 6 wrestle piece, and then he could potentially take 1 reroll and then put the leader reroll in there to get some efficiency going.
I mean, there's another argument, I think, in that you could try and cycle these throw raws
Until you get agility.
Find a plus Agi boy.
I don't hate that, honestly. Like, that's a thing that turns Khemri into a winning team, which I guess winning is not overrated. It's great.
I like winning.
See, I think you guys got it wrong. He just needs his 4th strength up, and then he's fine.
That's fine, too. I mean, if you roll strength on him, you just start rerolling the other one, right?
Yeah. You should just take some kind of skill where strength lets you pick up the ball better.
Man, if only.
Yeah, bad idea
Super
theater.
grip.
Yeah, bad idea theater Mark II. What are our other playoff contenders?
Yeah, next up, let me look.
Film players, right?
Next up is Stouticus, yeah.
Oh, it's like Grungy Desserts. My bad.
That's right, I was eyeing them earlier. This is the other Nurgle. This Nurgle is fine. They're suffering beat-up Nurgle syndrome, where one of their warriors has a movement bust. That sucks. You want to cycle him. You can't. One of the warriors just has block. It sucks. Can't really do a lot about that yet.
That's a problem to tackle probably next season.
Yep, he's got a movement Pestigore that's going to eventually be real cool. I like wrestle on that guy later. This is a man.
I think that he wants to spend his next 2 games doing everything in his power to level Donut in a Hole and all apple pies.
All apple pies is the poor guy who is seeing the Mighty Blow and Claw first problem. The problem with that guy
What
is
if he had block in a Kaz?
Yeah. Like, I mean, I get it. That guy's really scary to get hit by, but I've played against a lot of people that just haven't done that to me, despite being dwarves and despite them wanting to use their can opener, because, hey, my men have block.
I'd rather put you on your butt.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 1 in 9 for your guy to just fall over, and if you're making 80 blocks...
A problem. You make a lot of blocks as Nurgle. You need to be able to re-roll some things, and you don't have but 3 of them.
Yep.
You are not great at carrying the ball. Well, I mean, he is, because he's got
it's elf.
this
thing's great.
Agi Pestigore, but that's a different monster.
This thing needs to get 2 more levels. Get 2 heads and big hand.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, do you even put 2 heads on it?
Yes,
It does
every
need it,
time.
right?
No, you take it. You put that on there every time.
2 heads on.
I guess.
Oh
I
my
mean,
god.
What else do you put on him, I guess, right?
Movement. You put movement on that thing if you roll it, because this thing
yeah.
thinks it's a skink.
I mean, yeah, I can see where you're at. Just make him like a fake 5 Agi elf. It's great.
Oh, it's...
I'm
Trust me, I play
not
Agi
gonna
stuff.
tell you it's bad or anything. I think that Big Hand might be a better choice for this guy, though.
That's...
Well, no, it's 2 heads first because you need agility 5 to get to the ball, and then big hand scoops the ball in the tackle zones you're in, and then you just run out.
like...
But he's already Agi 5. Or Agi 4.
He's Agi 4,
Yeah.
so it's
So he can scooping it in one's not hard.
So, I think 2-head wins you more games, because that lets you just go, fuck it, I'm gonna click the end zone and get there. I think Big Hand lets you potentially take over more drives.
Just like the Big Hand goes so well with this wrestle tackle strip ball guy that's beside him.
That guy is great. Like, these 2 Pestigores, honestly, are the stars of this team, and they're beautiful. Again, I don't like the way that's developing blitzers, and it's a little awkward to get movement on that guy when you've already got the sacker roll and the ball carrier rolls tied up. But, whatever.
Looking at this team, what my guess is what happened was we took a yellow lead brownie here, and he was going to be our killer, and then he rolled doubles and got dodge, and then you're like, oh man, that's cool, I guess he'll be our killer someday, but we need some Mighty Blow. So then we took Mighty Blow on all apple pies. And then we rolled plus agility on this guy, and he's just our de facto ball carrier now. And we're just like, oh, I guess we need a killer now.
Yeah, I mean, that's legit. The only thing I think about that is I think Mighty Blow first is just a trap. I do like that we've got Guard in one of our Nurgle Warriors and our Beast. And I don't hate that taking one of the Warriors as a solid killer. Like, Cannoli Man is doing good work.
Yeah, man, you pretty regularly get to blitz with one of your Nurgle Warriors. I think you just put tackle on that guy as soon as possible. And I'm sorry he eats your blitz a lot, but that's fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's just going to be a case where, I mean, you just, all apple pies gets his level and then he gets to be good. Donut in the hole gets his level, and I think you really just hope for doubles here. Like, I don't even know what you take. Maybe start taking mutations. Probably just block a wrestle.
You get mutations on normals already. Your doubles are just like agi skills on these guys.
Sorry, what were you taking him as?
I would take him as a sweeper. You put block, and then you can put frenzy on him. We have surfing options, guys.
You just want him to make him a utility blitzer.
Yeah, I mean, you have strength 4 on your horns because of that, and then you take Juggernaut and stuff, and you push him off.
Oh yeah, I love turning Pestigores into surf machines because they can do that.
And if you live long enough, you take Strand Firm. I like this a lot. This is a good plan. I endorse it. Seems great.
Well, the other alternative is you train him into a replacement ball carrier because they're going to punch your ball carrier a lot.
Or a replacement killer.
Replacement killer, but plus move is not great for replacement killer.
I mean, you just
plus moves is nice if you're doing palm because then you have 4 movement afterwards.
But I think that with plus move, you just want to turn him into a frenzy blitzer, right? Like a frenzy jug blitzer.
I think it's pretty academic because the first level is just a very obvious block. And then you look at where your team is at when the time comes.
Exactly, yeah. You probably look at the next 2 or 3 matches when he finally gets to 31 SPP.
And these other blitzers are really solidly purpose-built already. Like, for all that I was talking mess a little bit about these skill choices a little earlier, I do really like how these pest scores all have very specific purposes. Like, Stouticus has done great development that way.
They're all positionals. You just get to pick which positional they are.
Yeah.
Another thing that I would advocate doing, and this is something I advocate only because you are about to go into playoffs against Elves potentially, you should get that 6th SPP on Gelato Me Wrong and put Dirty Player on him.
Yes. I like it.
Yep.
That's just that's an Agi 3 vanity pass away. That's easy.
Yep. Alright, so Holes as Film Flares is next. Man, 1580, what is it with these low team values?
I mean, these are all second season teams, so like some of them are super sweetly developed, but they've also been in the grinder with all of these Nurdles and Kemrys and stuff.
I mean, let's think of it. He only has 1 of each positional that's actually useful.
God damn, you're not kidding.
So it makes sense to be 1580 because they're really good at what they do.
And he just had to buy Cujo to replace Toto, and
so I'm gonna actually talk about.
He's lucky because it was Toto and not Lassie, the doubles block Mighty Blow piling on Tackle Wolf, who is just needs to die. Lassie
is terrifying.
I think he's honestly glad the Blodge Step one died because now he can try to go for a Strength 4 Wolf.
Oh yeah, he certainly could.
Yeah.
Like, the Blodge Step Wolf is cool and all, but he's just generic Wolf.
Exactly. Now
it was time for him to reroll anyway.
Yep. This Fulham is nothing special. Bombata, you kind of wish it was a little better, but whatever. It's got the skills that matter.
Yeah. And like we mentioned before, he put this first 3 SPP on this new flesh column here. That's a good move.
Respect. The white, yep, that's a killer white. That's what you want. You have it as backup against that wolf, because sometimes you don't want to frenzy.
John McClane here as replacement for our dead white from before.
Yep, he'll get some guard eventually.
Yeah, do we actually want to get Mighty Blow or guard on first?
Guard.
I probably put guard on John McClane first. That's me though. I think that guard is better than Mighty Blow in terms of overall team development,
it's also critical mass, and like extra number 5 is secretly the best player on this team. That's a zombie with guard. Oh, it's so good. It wants block.
How do we feel about extra number 2?
Extra number 2 can stay because he needs more block. Let's be serious here.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, I totally
kind of
agree.
like a needed.
But he's like 2 SPP away from being a real moper, right?
You hope he rolls guard after that.
You really want him to roll guard.
If he rolls guard, that's beautiful, but
you take tackle if you don't, and you're not happy about it, but 3 tackles fine. Like, you can rub this man.
yeah, I guess that's fine.
I guess
tackle's fine, but then you're paying $100K for a zombie
At that
on
point,
your 1,600K team. That's a 16th of your TV.
yeah, it could be 2 zombies, but he's got a lot of bench. It's the kick that really kind of gets me here. Like, yeah, kick's good, but like I'd rather have just tackle and block or tackle and guard.
Right, like I mean, I get it. Kick is great because you have these move 8 wolves and stuff, so you can really punish short kicks and fumbles. But that's like you're betting on what amounts to like a 1 in 20 or something.
I probably like kick is. When I recently played Necro, I'm kind of on the block zombie train. Like 130 player zombie to keep him honest is nice.
Yeah.
But you really want block because you're fishing for block guard, and if you get guard first, then great.
Exactly. That's sort of the undead necro life. You want all these zombies to have guard eventually, and preferably block to go with it, and then just roll another doubles and get them dodge. It'll be great.
Yeah, good luck with that. Anyway, we never talked about ghouls because ghouls are kind of ancillary. This one's perfect, and you want another one with wrestle, tackle, strip, but you know what else is new?
This is like literally the epitome of ghoul form, right? Plus movement, blodge, sure hands. Like, you don't actually want any other skills on this guy.
Sidestep.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, sidestep, but that costs you 20 TV.
Yeah, I'd take it. Just because that makes him a little harder to hit and a little more defensible. Like, this man is there to hand off the ball to whoever needs to score at this time, which is Cujo.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's certainly that's your goal in the coming games. Besides win and get your playoff position, is get Cujo a level.
Well, let's get Frankenstein's monster a level, because let me tell you, you can run around with unleveled Franks for a very long time, because no block Frank just doesn't get SPP ever.
Nope. Yeah, how many games did you have that 5 out of 6 SPP Frank before the season ended and you never got block on it?
16.
Yeah.
Yep. It's a thing that happens. I don't know. I like this team a lot. Like, for all that it's kind of half beat up, the half that it does still have is solid.
Beat up. It's still a solid team. They are, honestly, I don't know that I would want to go to playoffs with this team. I think that this is a team that just wants to develop another season.
And like, you're in a decent division. You're in a decent place to do it. Like, you still have enough players that can make plays. The only awkward part is you don't ever want to do anything with these fresh pieces, so you have to make some kind of awkward moves to do that.
I think this is like a great position for him. He just ends up in like 4th or 5th for the div, stays in div 7, and just gets to develop again next year. And if the team comes together again, he gets to make a playoff run then.
Basically, like, I want to make 5 touchdowns on these 3 players, and then we're good to go.
Exactly. Like, John McClane needs 2, the Frankenstein monster needs 1, and Cujo needs 2, and then this team is back on all its cylinders.
Yep. All right, and that was it, right? That was our 4 teams?
That's our 4 teams that are in playoff contention here. Captain Deuce is, like, technically in the running, but some magic has to happen.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, friend.
We looked at this. This is the man that has the proper number of stat ups, in that he has like 5 of them or some such.
Is that? Oh, that's right. This is where Touchdown Turley lives.
Yep. And
yeah.
Now
that said, this is a humans team this is a 2-season team too, right? All of Div 7 is. So this is a team that gets to become a monster next season, right?
Man, the humans free market, again, we're going to, friendly reminder here.
Use it.
You want to use the free agency market, unless you're playing dwarves, but you know, that's the thing. If you're playing humans,
use it. Like, there's no chorfs. You could get a block bull. That's the only one on the market. But that said, there are some spicy lizards and stuff like that.
Oh yes, and orcs actually seem to be doing pretty well. Like that's one of the
A bunch of
upsides of
spicy chaos coming off this season too.
Yeah. I think Orcs actually had their heyday last season, and now there's kind of like some scraps left.
Yep.
What's it? One of the big orc teams that quit at the end of last season comes off this time. So there's like a whole orc team.
Ooh, okay. Because I know, I think Holz's last team was the orc team that just came off this time.
Yeah, that's the Rusty bought a bunch of those. It was a bunch of sergeants and stuff, right?
Yeah, it was the cops one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, right. Sergeant
Poison
Adams
Blue,
and
that's what it was.
Sergeant Murphy, I think, are both on Rusty's team now.
They are, in fact, they are living on and getting levels despite Agi busts, because who needs Agi?
Who needs agility as a black orc?
Like, he's already got the skills, no Agi needed.
Yeah, I mean, it just punishes Rusty when he accidentally dodges. It's no big deal.
At any rate, this is a division that's in excellent shape. Like, you got a couple stunty teams that aren't going to have any sort of free agency, but like the halflings and vampires are doing wonderfully. You've got a bunch of real nasty bashy teams at the peak of their power. You've got some just cool stuff, like these wonderful dark elves rebuilding. You've got the underworld that, man, I didn't realize underworld were quite as functional of a team.
This is what 30-game teams look like, man. They start looking real mad.
Yeah, except Bioware for life. Like, you were saying that was a nice vampire team, but it's all thrall game there, and that's not what you want.
There's too many to be on the thralls.
Yeah. So, straight up, this is a case where when you get the cash for it, and that's the hard part to come by, you cycle all these guys that have levels. All of them.
Yeah, I mean, you have, what's this, 6 levels on thralls? No, 8 levels, and one's a double. That's 170 TV. That's like a vampire, and that's a good vampire.
Shepherd ate a movement bust too.
Wrestles though, because you do need your reliability.
Yeah,
I certainly think that the first level on a thrall does not get them anywhere close to firing them. The second level, like Fend, is maybe kind of.
I kill it.
Nah, he should get tossed.
But I think that there's a point where you start having too many of those guys.
Yeah, you'll feel it in your play. It's like, oh yeah, I didn't actually need him. Period.
Man, this team is in a rough spot. Like,
but if he had vamps, then he would actually be tossing them. But since he doesn't have vamps, he can't afford to toss them.
No,
I think
his one good vampire
is
movement.
He's given up some inducements because he's got a 5th reroll here.
Yeah, that's probably not right. Like, I'd probably fire the 5th reroll, and yeah, it's awkward. Like, this is a rough spot to be in. Like, you need
I would say this team's probably better off just trying to build a new vampire team, as rough as it sounds.
I'd agree.
His 2 heroes, one is just a blodge one with a minus movement, so he's just bloat now. Then the other one's dead. That was movement 8. So there's nothing really to fall back on the basis here.
It's a niggle, not a minus move.
So no, that is
minus
movement. I just looked at it actually
he's
a second
6
ago.
Movement when he's supposed to be 7.
Oh, you're right. That is a plus move point.
So that's just 30 TV. That's not doing anything for you.
I didn't want that double anyway.
Didn't want that 10 roll specifically.
Well, yeah, it's double TV though.
Yeah, it is.
No,
yeah,
this is 30.
This is tough. Yeah, I mean that's what doubles are.
Oh, you meant double. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same TV as a double. I'm sorry.
I mean double the normal price.
No,
I don't disagree with you though, because it's going to be really hard to develop on skilled vamps, and you're going to have you really need to develop at least 2 more vamps, and it's going to be hard to do that.
The problem is
Div 7.
This div is, I mean, it's not as crazy as say Div 4, which we covered earlier, which I live in, which is it's an interesting place. But this division is no slouch for scary teams. Like, we looked at the Chaos, the Nurgle, the other Nurgle. Even the Khemri are terrifying.
9th place in this div of 14 is like well out of relegation range, right? So he's in div 7 again, right?
It's not that he's in div 7, it's where everyone shuffles, because now we're talking about like 300 coaches, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
So
but he's close. I mean, I guess this is like Div 7, so there's going to be a lot of openings above, huh?
Yep. So even like above, there's going to be, I would say relegation isn't the last 4 spots anymore.
You're probably right.
Be good in other divisions. Put them in that division, I would say.
So
but he's probably only ever making it to Div 6, even if there's a ton of rerolls.
Yeah, he can make it to Div 6. He can go to Div 5 possibly. I wouldn't see it much higher than that.
Exactly.
And
like he's not He's not moving up into the land of murder.
And which I don't think this is going to happen, but if we had probably like a ton more like new divisions, he could actually end up in like Div 8 and go back a step. It'll seem like he's getting relegated, but that's actually just all the letter divs filling in where they should be.
Right, exactly.
That's true.
So,
what is there? Was it 5 or 6 for REL this season?
we go up to E, so that's 5.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cool team, and I like vampires a lot. I think we've expressed that pretty clearly, but yeah, I would say reroll that. That's rough, I know, but you get a chance for things to go a little bit better, and you get a chance to run your killers up. And you get to do it against fresh teams, which is probably a little less rough than whatever you've been dealing with this season. Props on you to sticking it out, though.
You're at this point where you like need all of your skills that are on your thralls to survive, but you also want the skills to not be on your thralls.
Yeah, there's just no good answer here.
Yeah, it's tough. This is a tough spot. This is like the beginning of the death snowball.
I mean, we've got some people that are surviving that death snowball. Like the elves are rebuilding, film flares is rebuilding.
Well, yeah, but that's kind of like hope at the end of the tunnel. This one's like, well, let's say film flares. They had half a team of positionals that were really good. We're down to one that's just basically a blodge vampire is our hero.
That's it, an overpriced blodge vampire.
2 block vampires. They have block on the... Yeah, no, that's not good.
A lot. That is a big deal. That said, they are 4 strength, 4 edgy pieces. You can put 2 touchdowns on them pretty easy.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm just going to say that's basically 4 skills on vampires, and you want about 10 skills on all of them right now?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
For 1,600 vampires, you should have like 4 built-ass vamps and a backup.
Yep.
Maybe not the backup, but yeah, you want at least 3 that are really well built, and then something new cycling in.
Ideally, you can also fire some of your skilled linos in the favor of having more linos, just because you need that 16-man roster. Like, I'd rather have the 16-man roster than the 5th reroll.
Yeah, I think that 5th reroll is kind of bloaty.
Well, he doesn't need the 16-man because he's inducing star players if he goes into somewhere with TV difference.
That's true.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. It's an interesting place to be, but I think it's a cool team. I'm glad he's sticking it out. And I think everybody else in this division gets to land wherever they land after the shuffle. And I, for one, I'm going to soapbox for a second. I hope there's a shuffle. I really do, because I think that shaking up the divisions means people get new matchups next season. And even if it looks like it might be relegation, we've got a lot of teams from the letter divs that land wherever the heck they land. And they land all over the map. Like, I don't even think me landing up in Div 4 was insane, given that I had a pretty good record, 3rd in my div, but whatever. I feel like Div 5 or 6.
Yeah, right. I think it's kind of a bit weird of how far they shuffled it up. I think it should be shuffled, but only like 2 season teams, and they have to kind of be the weenie ones, or the ones that weren't as performing.
It's like super hard to compete as a 1 season team against like 3rd and 4th season teams, like even if you just had perfect development your first season.
Well, the fresh teams in my div were myself and Tim, the 2 dwarves that performed real well. And,
right, but you guys came from letter divs.
We did come from letter divs, and we've both been having a real rough go of it. And I know in REL 3 we had Self55, who actually is the guy who beat me out for the playoff spot on my letter div. He made it up to REL 3. Amazing coach. Fantastic elf player. Has lost more players than anybody else in REL right now.
Yeah, his team blew up. But that's kind of pro elves, though.
I mean, I will tell you what he told me after I played him, and he beat me to get his spot. He said, yeah, I have lost 10 catchers now. I killed 2 of them. And he just doesn't APO busts on catchers because it never does what he wants. He's just APOs badly hurts because it lets him win.
I mean, it's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, that's the pro elf lifestyle, right? Like, blood for the blood god. You pay for every touchdown with a death.
But that's why I don't win. I would play them as you save every positional you can. Even like a developed lineman, you're like, okay, apple burn.
Yeah.
But then you don't get to 3-0 people because then you're playing safe all the time.
See, that's how
it depends on coach.
I do that with dwarves. Yeah. Like, it's only very recently that I don't consider guard lineman APO worthy, and even then I still think about it and like where I am in the matchup. Because again, that's a team where every guy's positional. The difference is with dwarves, you have enough guard to not give up as many punches, and you've got AV9, so even when you do give up punches, you've got long-term statistics on your side. Long-term statistics means you have to recycle some guard boys, but whatever.
Hey man, that APO is worth a lot more in the first half than it is in the second half.
It certainly is. And, I mean, long-term statistics also say regen's better than the APO, but we have some thoughts on that. Lots of people have thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think that you and I disagree a little bit on regen v APO.
I think it comes out in the wash, is where I've ultimately landed on it.
I think they're
Well,
pretty
the
close.
thing is just like the apothecary can save your one specific player you want to save, and then regen's like you get your fodder back a lot more than you'd want.
Well, I mean, your regen's 50% to save your expensive guy, and your APO's 66% to save your expensive guy, so it's not that much better.
It depends on whether or not you think busts are allowable or not. Like, we've got people
Sure,
like...
I mean,
people running around with agi busted
You're right.
pieces that are solid pillars that, yeah, those busts are fine. And then you've got stuff like this movement busted vampire who's basically just dead.
sure. Like, your APO is probably actually more like 75% or something to succeed, because there are injuries that you don't care about, but you're also taking, like, misnext games there, and that's tough too sometimes.
You know, thinking about it, that's actually kind of funny. You're right, because he has the apothecary and regen and still took bust.
Yeah,
Yeah,
poor
that's tough.
guy. I mean, sometimes it just doesn't get there. Like, that is the real tragedy of vamps. And the reason why they are probably good to take 4, if not 5, free rolls. Sorry to soapbox on that, but, you know.
I think it's good.
At any rate, it is a case where sometimes you just don't get there, and you are an extremely high variance, incredibly cool team that explodes. Sucks. But, you know, if you are the first vampires on the market, people will buy those block vampires, and BioWare heroes will live on in other games.
Oh yeah, man. I think NPA would buy almost every vampire on that team. He might not buy the move busted one, but the black guys probably go on a team somewhere.
I could see both the block guys and the blodge guy being the main ones that would get picked up here.
Yeah, totally.
Not really anything else. Like, developed throws are kind of nice, but they're kind of not needed. They come as they go.
Yep.
Just put them on the market and then buy them back next year.
Yeah, it's mostly just people who want to kickstart a new vamp. They're like, block, sure, yeah, I'll take that.
Exactly. I mean, and that's a great way to kickstart vamps, right? Like, get the hard part of being a vampire out of the way.
I actually really like the plan of sell your block vampires and then later on buy back your block vampires.
I feel like that's just against the spirit of it, to be honest.
Why not?
It is against the spirit of it, but come on. It's vamps. They need the help they can get.
Just think of it as the rookie team.
And in the meantime, if somebody else wants to buy the block vampires, yeah, that's life.
Yeah, they might find a use for them. Anybody else have anything else they want to say about Div 7 here? We're coming up on an hour.
That's all my thoughts.
Yeah. I'm really happy to get to cover this group. It seems like a great guy, teams, and yeah, looking to do it a good season.
Yep. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you again next week about hopefully some closer to locked up playoff contenders and all the games from Div 7. This has been Randomous Namus here with Iron Master and Kyle Meir, and we'll see you next week.
Have a good one.
Yep.